Hi, Palak.
Hi, Dr. Geet. How are you?
I'm good. How are you doing?
I'm doing well. So lovely to have you on Vegan First.
Thank you for having me. It's been a long while we've been chatting to each other, but IT is making us meet each other virtually.
Yes, till the lockdown opens, looks like this will be how we will be communicating.
That's right.
So, Dr. Geet, we have a lot of participants joining us today for today's live. Um, I want to introduce you and the wonderful work that you're doing. Um, Dr. Reed runs Pet Kitchen, and she is an animal nutritionist, and she has been making diet plans for dogs, for other animals, and she also has supplements and meal plans for which are easy to buy products for your pets. A lot of them are already vegan, and I had a word with her, and the amount of insight that she had about nutrition and pets was incredible. So we thought it's a great idea to have her on the show and ask her more. So over to you. Please give us a little brief about what you do, and we'll take it from there.
Okay, so actually, I've been a finance professional all my life. I'm a chartered accountant and I've done an MBA in finance, but that was not where my passion lied. I've always had pets, and I often wondered whenever they would have any health problem, I would run from door to door to veterinarians and asking for solutions. Ultimately, I thought that holistic health management of a dog will prevent them from having diseases, and also the inconvenience of so many veterinary visits. And a lot of problems can be solved just through the diet of the dogs. For example, I had a Rottweiler named Drago, and he has been one of my favorite dogs of all the dogs I've ever had. He was a Rottweiler, but a very cute one, and I treated his arthritis at home with his diet, through the diet and some home physiotherapy that I learned online. And then he had some skin issues as well. He would have some issues. He had skin issues all through, sometimes in his ears, sometimes on the skin. And then I was so fed up of giving him antibiotics and stuff like that. And that's when I decided to do my own research. And I learned, and through his diet, I was able to solve all of his problems. So I thought, oh my God, if everything can be solved through the diet, then there must be something about it. And I started learning all this, and eventually I ended up being a pet nutritionist. Then I left my finance profession, and I joined a local veterinarian as a consulting a dog and cat nutritionist. I was also giving diet plans for their in-house dog and cat patients, and that is how my journey began. And because I believe in food being the medicine, so I also got some therapeutic dog treats. I experimented, and I made them for my dogs, actually, for fulfilling all the nutritional requirements that is not always possible to put in their food. So I made treats for omegas, I made treats for immunity, I made treats for my dogs for vitamins. So I made all sorts of these treats, and I give them these treats, and then I launched them as a product line. Here they are, some of them, like these are calcium treats.
Awesome.
So they have eggshell powder, stuff like that. Yeah.
Okay. So that's fascinating, and you also mentioned a lot of these treats. Almost most of them are accidentally vegan or can be veganized. So
Yes.
another thing which
So I started
was
yes.
tell me.
I started making vegan treats only, but then I do customize them for pet parents accordingly. So,
Sure.
yeah.
So one more very fascinating thing that I wanted to ask you, when you mentioned that the world's longest living dog was a vegan. That was interesting because.
Yes, for a long time. His Guinness Book of World Record was eventually taken over by another dog who lived for 29 years, but the longest living dog for a long time was Bramble. He lived for 25 human years.
Wow. So this is a very controversial topic, and I completely understand. A lot of us have, dogs, or we go to the street. I know of one wonderful farm. It's called the People Farm. It's near Dharamshala, and for them it is very difficult to actually serve vegan meals to dogs. So what they do is that they just go to the normal markets where there are slaughterhouses and just take the remains of animal bones, etc., and feed that. However, I've also seen a lot of success rates of a lot of pet parents who wanted to either switch their diet of the dog to a vegan diet, because that's what they sort of believed in. In that case, what do you recommend? Is Will a pet be able to fulfill their nutritional requirements if they switch to a vegan diet?
It's a very interesting question, and I would love to answer that. Well, so first of all, we have to look at what dogs are able to digest, what their anatomy says about them. So dogs are omnivores. Dogs can, what does an omnivore mean? An omnivore means an animal who can survive and thrive both on plant and animal matter. So dogs can survive on both of them. Dogs descend from wolves. Many people would critique that no, dogs descend from wolves. They are in the order Carnivora, so they are only carnivores. Their teeth are like this, but that's not all about them. They have evolved over a number of years of living for 20,000, more than 20,000 years of domestication with human beings. So we have also evolved. We have evolved from apes, but we are not apes. We have adapted to the changes in our lifestyle, and so have dogs for more than over 20,000 years, and now they are able to digest carbohydrates or plant material, and their gut shows, their saliva shows that they have plant digesting enzymes being released in their mouth as well as their guts. And so does their gut genetics say. When we talk about or we examine the gut genetics of dogs, then we see that the gut genetics of dogs are similar to those of omnivores. Not only that, I believe that science and research definitely should be a pillar for decision making, while at the same time they should not be the only pillar for decision making for whether for pets or for any walk of life. I think real life experiences need to be counted and need to be given equal importance while taking any decision. So there are a lot many pet parents who have raised their dogs on vegan diets and they have lived healthy. In fact, I've been researching on this topic of dogs and veganism because I'm very much intrigued by this topic, and in my research I found very surprising and pleasure giving facts. For example, number one, like we say, dogs they come from wolves, which is true. And we say that wolves are carnivores. So here I would like to give you a fact about wolves. I would request the audience to go on National Geographic, do a search, and there you will find wolf viewers in America have seen wolves feasting on blueberries. In fact, they found that in summers, wolves take up 80% of their diet from blueberries because the meats and the animals are not so much in abundance, so they end up feasting on berries and fruits. So, so just saying that dogs have descended from wolves and therefore they can be only carnivores. There is a controversial, not controversial. There's an opposing fact here as well. And having talked about physiology also. So yes, we can support dogs on a vegan diet, but what I would like to mention here is that the most natural diet for a dog, if you would ask, would be that of being an omnivore, that is giving them plant and animal matter both. However, I feel being human beings, being intelligent, we can use our intelligence to help vegan pet parents help their dogs thrive on a vegan diet. But that is a matter of giving a good, insight into the nutrition and the diet of the dog, whatever is going into the dog's diet. We have to take care of that. And once it's taken care of, it's doable.
Got it, got it. Wow, very insightful answer. And I do agree with you as well. We've seen a lot of success rates of dogs being on a plant-based diet, but
Yes.
is that okay for cats and other animals as well? Should anybody consider a plant-based diet if they're ethical vegans for which are the animals that one could look into for giving a vegan diet?
So obviously herbivores like rats and sorry, not rats, for rabbits are vegan. And okay, I do have someone in my neighborhood having a goat as a pet, and so yeah, that can also be there. But cats, no, cats cannot be kept vegan, and I do not recommend keeping cats on a vegan diet at all. That would be unfair to the cat. So for vegan pet parents, cats are not the recommended pet species, because cats are obligate or compulsive carnivores. So the enzymes, the bile enzymes, or the enzymes that the liver produces for digestion are enzymes made to digest proteins. So if we are not giving them a high protein diet, it's lacking in protein and it's made more of cellulose matter, so their enzymes are going to start digesting the cat's muscles and tissues, the protein from its own muscles and tissues, for nurturing its body. So the cat will experience muscle wasting to a point where ultimately she has none of it left. So the cat will lose weight. Cats can go blind. Also, cats cannot produce taurine in their body. It's a very important asset that they need. It's a building block required by the body, and they cannot generate it on their own from plant matter. So this
Right.
taurine otherwise is available in tissues of animals. So if they do not get it from their diet, where are they going to get it from? And in the absence of taurine, cats can go blind and they can even get heart problems. So it is not recommended to keep cats on a vegan diet at all. Although I know a lot of vegan foods for cats are also available. However,
Not
I
ideal.
would say it's like forcing our decision on the cats.
Got it, got it. Cats are, naturally hunters, right? We discussed earlier on. They go out there, they kill, and they even come back. Whereas dogs are more adaptive and domesticated.
Yes,
They're comfortable.
yes, that's right.
Awesome. You also said that, what are the precautions that we need to take in case somebody does take a decision to choose plant-based diet for their pets? What are the precautions that one should be taking?
So we have to keep in mind that for dogs, their primary source of energy ideally should come from protein, followed by fats, and the least through carbohydrates. However, when we do that with a vegan diet or a vegetarian diet, the protein percentage naturally goes down because plant material is not as rich in protein. So what we should be keeping in mind is, although if you read online or you go on nutrition blogs, you would find that there's about 40% of a dog's calories should come from protein. But it's hard to achieve that on a vegan diet. So the alteration that you should do is that instead of going after the percentages, you should figure out how many grams of protein your dog needs a day, and try to fulfill his protein requirement in grams in a day through his diet. It's very easily doable. In fact, I did a vegan homemade meal for dogs just yesterday on my live dog cookery show with Dog Spot. I think it's still available on their Facebook, and I will be posting it soon on my YouTube channel. It's called Pet Kitchen with Geet Rao, and also on my Instagram, again, Pet Kitchen with Geet Rao. So maybe pet parents can take a look at that vegan dog diet recipe also. So basically, you have to take care of the grammage of proteins, and when serving a vegan diet, I always recommend that you have to give a vegan meal base. So in India, we are generally accustomed to feeding our dogs with rotis as the base, which is not right. So if your dog, our dogs, okay, even many pet parents might say we feed chicken to our dogs, but that's not really a non-vegetarian diet for that dog. So even if a vegan or a vegetarian dog is there, you need to minus the rotis and make a vegan meal base using protein sources like soya or peas or oats, protein-rich vegan sources. They should be used as a base instead of rotis and rice. And
So
then comes in the job of a nutritionist.
why should we not, serve rotis? What does it do any harm to the dog, or does it not fulfill the protein requirements, or the daily intake
Yeah,
of?
it does not fulfill the protein requirement, and we are giving a single kind of an ingredient in way excess of quantity than is required for a dog. Dogs don't go out hunting. Where is that sugar and the carbohydrates that they're getting from the rotis? Where is it going? It's going to add to health problems, weight problems, arthritis.
Right. We have very interesting questions coming up, very similar to what we're taking up anyway. And so we have vegan bearded guy asking us, what about dogs who are addicted to milk and curd? And another person, Sahil, is asking us, what about dals?
Okay, so I'll answer the milk and curd question first.
Yeah, sure.
So, is the question about how to shift the dog from milk and curd to something else? If that is the question, then we cannot make sudden changes in any dog's diet. For changing any dog's diet, the diet has to be gradual. So, for example, you need to first start taking out you have to add the new food that you want to introduce to your dog in his favorite food. And introduce only very little quantity, say 10% of the entire older meal, and keep it to that 10% for at least 3-4 days till the dog becomes a little familiar, and then slowly keep on adding the new quantity, and you have to go to 100% of the new food, say in about 2 weeks or 3 weeks time, not any sooner, because if you try to make sudden changes, the dog might not like it and might associate repulsiveness or repelling feeling to that new food if he's not introduced to the new food in the right way. So it's important that we introduce the new food by adding only 10% to the favorite food. Dogs will get familiar with the smell. Sometimes dogs don't like the texture, so you can play with the texture also. For example, if you're trying to introduce carrots, if your dog is not accepting chopped carrots, try to grate the carrots, try to puree the carrots, play with different texture. So these are few ways of introducing new foods to your dog. The second one was about dal. Yes, so if your dog is on a vegan diet, dals are very good. Lentils are a good source of protein. Not only that they have many other nutritional value as well. However, it is important that we serve dals to our dogs the right way. The dals need to be pre-soaked in water, and that water has to be thrown. At least they should be soaked for say 4-5 hours. And because dals, they consist of phytic acids. So do beans like kidney beans or grams like chane, black chana or white chana. And when we soak them in water, the phytic acids get absorbed in the water and we throw away that water. So phytic acids are anti-nutrients. They prevent the absorption of nutrients in the stomach. So if we pre-soak them, we are making the food more nutritious. So yes, dals are good and they should be served in the right way. What's the next question, please?
So this is very interesting. I think we have very specific questions for viewers who have very, very specific questions. We'd like to tell you that we are doing some online courses and webinars with Geet in the next coming weeks, and they will be available on the website to download. And anybody and everybody who is interested in getting very detailed answers or want to join our cooking courses for pets, can just DM us, and we will let you know whenever the next, DM us with your phone number and email. We'll register you, and we will let you know when the next webinar and the next course comes up. I'll take the next question now.
Yes.
The next question is from just a moment, I just saw it. Yeah, Sajid. He's saying how to regain colors or regain the lost color of coats in dogs.
The lost color
Of the coat.
Okay, so it's a coat.
Yeah.
Yes, it's a coat in health. So basically, coat health depends on many things. One is the protein. Another one is the fat. digestion is also very important. And you also have to see if there are any underlying health conditions in your dog. So one is, like I said, protein. So dogs on a vegan or a vegetarian diet, if diet is not carefully monitored, then protein can be really lacking. Protein provides the building block. So you have to check into that. You can try to experiment by giving amino acid supplements, because amino acids is what proteins are broken down into, and see if that works. Otherwise, you have to see if you're adding the right fats, and also changing the fat profile for your dog. For example, sometimes giving coconut oil, sometimes cooking his food in, say, sesame oil, sometimes topping it with olive oil. So, because every fat has a different kind of, fatty acid chain, and they have different properties. Fats also give elasticity to the skin apart from moisture. Fats also form the walls of the cells. So, that ways fats are very important. And not only that, is your dog able to digest his food well? Is everything okay with his digestion? You can tell it from his talk about the digestion of the dog from his poop. I will be posting one series on how to determine your dog's health through his poop. It's called Poopy Stories on my Instagram, so you can take some help from there also. And you also have to check if he has any thyroid issues or such underlying issues. You need to get a blood test done. So there could be so many issues, but number one would be get a balanced diet for your dog, and number two would be start giving him an amino acid supplement, and number three, please start adding healthy oils and start rotating them.
Okay. We have another question about red eyes. Are red eyes a sign of deficiency in dogs?
Red eyes are a sign of deficiency. It could be an infection. It's not really a deficiency. I think you need to check, is it an infection, an inflammation, or is it a blood clot? Either of the two.
All right, right. What is the ideal? One question that we discussed was cooked food or raw food. What should we go for dogs? A lot of people just like to, serve a dog a biscuit or a cucumber. It's very random. So what is the staple?
Yes. So raw food is very popular amongst dogs, but it's not meant for vegan dogs. Raw food is, barf diet. It's a bone and raw food diet. That is a typically, completely non-vegetarian diet. Raw food is not suggested for vegan dogs. Because they have adapted to digest plant matter, but not as the primary source. Dogs cannot digest plant matter completely if it's served uncooked. You have to either puree the vegetables or blanch them, or you have to ferment them, do any of the things which makes it more easily digestible for dogs. So raw food is definitely not recommended for vegan dogs.
What about tomatoes?
Tomatoes are not recommended. They are not safe. They could be toxic for dogs.
And
yes, so vegetables. The vegetables that you can serve to your dogs there are a lot of options. Pumpkin is very popular. Peas are there. You can give sweet potatoes. You can give potatoes. Cauliflower. Cruciferous vegetables like broccoli and cauliflower especially are very good because they're also higher in protein content. So these shades you can feed to your dog, these vegetables. And amongst fruits, mostly fruits are safe. However, avoid giving things like mangoes, very sweet fruits, or grapes. Sweet fruits should not be given. Figs. Otherwise, apples. Apple sauce is an ingredient that you can make in bulk and store it in your refrigerator and add a spoon or two of apple sauce to your dog's food.
What about pineapple? Ria is asking us.
In small quantities. Small quantities.
So you mean to say anything very sour or anything extremely sweet or salty or a mix of that, sort of gives a reaction or is not ideal?
Okay. Yes.
Another question which a lot of our viewers have been asking us for, in fact, few years now, is that a lot of them actually go out there on the street and they like to feed dogs who are out on the street.
Yes.
So in that case, how do we help? What do we give street dogs, and how do we know if a street dog I mean, we don't even know the history of what they've been eating, right? So if somebody wants to serve them plant-based food to a street dog, how can we ascertain if they will eat it or not? Sorry, I know it's a very
Okay,
tough
so
question.
no, it's okay. So there are two questions. One is what to feed to street dogs on a vegan diet,
Yeah.
and number two, how to make sure that they eat that food.
Yeah. Because sometimes dogs just walk away,
Yes.
you go all the way and yeah.
Yes. Well, it's very hard to change the mind of a street dog when it comes to his food preferences, because he might still be getting his favorite food from some other source, and if he's accustomed to that, and if he knows that he's going to get it, so it might not be possible for you to train him to like a food of your own choice. It's different with a domestic dog who lives with you and is under your supervision, and it's different with such dogs. Number two, again for a street dog, if you still want to try giving him a different food, you have to know what he has been eating before, and then you have to make small changes, just like how I mentioned some time back. 10% of the new food mixed in his favorite food, and gradually make it to 100% of the new food. And the second question about what do we feed to street dogs on a vegan diet? Well, you have to again consider that they must be given the base of the meal has to be a vegan meal base, which is a protein source. Ideally, I use two protein sources as a vegan meals base. For example, it could be rajma and say peas, or it could be oats and quinoa. But if you want to keep it pocket friendly for these dogs, then you can go for moong dal. Moong dal is very easily available, and maybe you can add some black chana. However, they all have to be pre-soaked. And while cooking them, I would recommend adding, or you can also do moong dal and soya chunks. They are very easily available, easily cooked, and pocket friendly also. So this should account for at least 50% of the base of the meal. And then add in some vegetables. You can keep on rotating the vegetables. For example, one day you put carrots, the other day put peas, the other day put pumpkin. Keep on changing the vegetables, and sometimes you can even add applesauce, a spoon or two. You can store a big batch. It won't be very expensive, adding just a spoon of applesauce. Applesauce is made by decoding the apples, peeling them, boiling them, and just smashing it all together. It's very healthy. The apples have pectin, and they will keep the digestive tract of these dogs good. So it's important to maintain a good gut health. We pre-soak them. We are making the food more nutritious. So yes, dals are good, and they should be served in the right way. What's the next question, please?
So this is very interesting. I think we have very specific questions for viewers who have very specific questions. We'd like to tell you that we are doing some online courses and webinars with Geet in the next coming weeks, and they will be available on the website to download. And anybody and everybody who is interested in getting very detailed answers or want to join our cooking courses for pets, can just DM us, and we will let you know whenever the next, DM us with your phone number and email. We will register you, and we will let you know when the next webinar and the next course comes up. I'll take the next question now.
Yes.
The next question is from, just a moment, I just saw it. Yeah, Sajid. He's saying how to regain colors or regain the lost color of coats in dogs.
The lost color. Okay, so it's a coat. Yes, it's a coat in health. So basically, coat health depends on many things. One is the protein, another one is the fat. Digestion is also very important, and you also have to see if there are any underlying health conditions in your dog. So one is, like I said, protein. So dogs on a vegan or a vegetarian diet, if diet is not carefully monitored, then protein can be really lacking. Protein provides the building block. So you have to check into that. You can try to experiment by giving amino acid supplements, because amino acids is what proteins are broken down into, and see if that works. Otherwise, you have to see if you're adding the right fats, and also changing the fat profile for your dog. For example, sometimes giving coconut oil, sometimes cooking his food in say sesame oil, sometimes topping it with olive oil. So because every fat has a different kind of fatty acid chain, and they have different properties. Fats also give elasticity to the skin apart from moisture. Fats also form the walls of the cells. So that ways fats are very important. And not only that, is your dog able to digest his food well? Is everything okay with his digestion? You can tell it from his talk about the digestion of the dog from his poop. I will be posting one series on how to determine your dog's health through his poop. It's called Poopy Stories on my Instagram, so you can take some help from there also. And you also have to check if he has any thyroid issues or such underlying issues. You need to get a blood test done. So there could be so many issues, but number one would be get a balanced diet for your dog, and number two would be start giving him an amino acid supplement, and number three, please start adding healthy oils and start rotating them.
Okay. We have another question about red eyes. Are red eyes a sign of deficiency in dogs?
Red eyes are a sign of deficiency. It could be an infection. It's not really a deficiency. I think you need to check, is it an infection, an inflammation, or is it a blood clot? Either of the two.
All right. What is the ideal? One question that we discussed was cooked food or raw food. What should we go for dogs? A lot of people just like to, serve a dog a biscuit or a cucumber. It's very random. So what is the staple?
Yes. So raw food is very popular amongst dogs, but it's not meant for vegan dogs. Raw food is, barf diet. It's a bone and raw food diet. That is a typically, completely non-vegetarian diet. Raw food is not suggested for vegan dogs. Because they have adapted to digest plant matter, but not as the primary source. Dogs cannot digest plant matter completely if it's served uncooked. You have to either puree the vegetables or blanch them, or you have to ferment them. Do any of the things which makes it more easily digestible for dogs. So raw food is definitely not recommended for vegan dogs.
What about tomatoes?
Tomatoes are not recommended. They are not safe. They could be toxic for dogs. Yes. So the vegetables that you can serve to your dogs there are a lot of options. Pumpkin is very popular. Peas are there. You can give sweet potatoes. You can give potatoes. Cauliflower. Cruciferous vegetables like broccoli and cauliflower especially are very good because they're also higher in protein content. So these shades you can feed to your dog, these vegetables. And amongst fruits, mostly fruits are safe. However, avoid giving things like mangoes, very sweet fruits, or grapes. Sweet fruits should not be given. Figs. Otherwise, apples. Apple sauce is an ingredient that you can, make in bulk and store it in your refrigerator and add a spoon or two of apple sauce to your dog's food.
What about pineapple?
In small quantity.
So you mean to say anything very sour or anything extremely sweet or salty or a mix of that, sort of gives a reaction or is not ideal?
Yes.
Okay. Another question which a lot of our viewers have been asking us for, in fact, few years now, is that a lot of them actually go out there on the street and they like to feed dogs who are out on the street. So in that case, how do we help? What do we give street dogs, and how do we know if a street dog? I mean, we don't even know the history of what they've been eating, right? So if somebody wants to serve them plant-based food to a street dog, how can we ascertain if they will eat it or not?
Okay.
Sorry, I know it's a tough question.
No. It's okay. So there are two questions. One is what to feed to street dogs on a vegan diet, and number two, how to make sure that they eat that food.
Yeah, because sometimes dogs just walk away, you go all the way and yeah.
Yes. Well, it's very hard to change the mind of a street dog when it comes to his food preferences, because he might still be getting his favorite food from some other source, and if he's accustomed to that and if he knows that he's going to get it, so it might not be possible for you to train him to like a food of your own choice. It's different with a domestic dog who lives with you and is under your supervision, and it's different with such dogs. Number two, again for a street dog, if you still want to try giving him a different food, you have to know what he has been eating before, and then you have to make small changes, just like how I mentioned some time back. 10% of the new food mixed in his favorite food, and gradually make it to 100% of the new food. And the second question about what do we feed to street dogs on a vegan diet? Well, you have to again consider that they must be given the base of the meal has to be a vegan meal base, which is a protein source. Ideally, I use 2 protein sources as a vegan meals base. For example, it could be rajma and say peas, or it could be oats and quinoa. But if you want to keep it pocket friendly for these dogs, then you can go for moong dal. Moong dal is very easily available, and maybe you can add some black chana. However, they all have to be pre-soaked, and while cooking them, I would recommend adding, or you can also do moong dal and soya chunks. They are very easily available, easily cooked, and pocket friendly also. So this should account for at least 50% of the base of the meal, and then add in some vegetables. You can keep on rotating the vegetables. For example, one day you put carrots, the other day put peas, the other day put pumpkin. Keep on changing the vegetables, and sometimes you can even add applesauce. A spoon or two. You can store a big batch. It won't be very expensive, adding just a spoon of applesauce. Applesauce is made by decoding the apples, peeling them, boiling them, and just smashing it all together. It's very healthy. Apples have pectin, and they will keep the digestive tract of these dogs good. So it's important to maintain a good gut health for dogs, because 70% of the immune system lies in their guts. And fruits like apples, they provide food for the bacteria that live in their gut. So if we put in these ingredients, we are supporting their gut health, their immunity, and their overall health. So these are the things that you can do. And at the end of when the food preparation is made, just add a spoon or two of coconut oil or olive oil, any oil of your choice. Sometimes you can even add soybean oil. It's a very reasonable and a cost-effective, oil option for feeding the street pups.
Yes, you mentioned that earlier during our conversation that adding oil to pet food is important to dog food, because their source of fat is either seeds and nuts or oils. So that should be with every meal.
Yes, they should be given with every meal.
Okay.
Seeds are very important. Seeds not only give protein for vegan dogs, they also give healthy fats and omega fatty acids. In fact, I have a pack of, one of the treats that I have are called omega treats, which are especially for vegan dogs. They're packed with flax seeds, sunflower seeds, almond meal, coconut oil, chia seeds. I put all these things in those treats to give omega-6 and 3 supplements, to dogs naturally through their food.
Right. That's amazing. We have Ms. Maninder asking us another question, which is that she has been feeding tomatoes to her dog already. So I would request all our viewers that if you have very, very specific questions, please message us your phone number and email ID, and we will give you the lead we will let you know when the next session happens, and even the link to download. And there we'll also be having personalized Q&As by, Geet, so that she can ask you a little bit more specific questions. So anybody who's very interested to know very specific and detailed answers, or to learn more about pet nutrition and take more classes, please email us and drop us your message and email ID. You can even message hello@veganfirst.com and we'll come back to you. We have Bhavna Kapoor asking us, could you suggest
yes, where to buy my products? You can either buy them on my website or you can DM me on Pet Kitchen with Geet Rao. That's my Insta handle.
Sure. Bhavna also asked us a question, which was that does this change, does it cause any behavior change if the dog has an extra toe on his hind legs?
No, that should not affect the behavior. Unless he's having some problem in walking, but no, it does not. It should not. Hrithik Roshan has 2 thumbs. I don't think it causes any behavioral problems with him.
Basically, unless your dog is irritable or there's some bone problem or structural issues with him. Sahil is asking us, that he's been feeding milk to the dogs and they don't eat anything else other than this. And this is a very common issue. In fact, a lot of times in the beginning, before turning vegan, and even at the early stage, I tried to, give plant-based milks to dogs who were already, eating non-veg. I tried to give them milk in the beginning, and I wanted to shift to plant milk. However, it would, it was not possible. Then I started shifting to different kind of rice and other forms. But that is the question which comes a lot of times, that if we are so used to giving the dogs milk, what can we, switch it to?
First of all, I would recommend if you can try switching the dog from milk to curd, because milk is not very compatible with a lot of foods, while curd is. So, for example, if I want to add, say, lentils to a dog's food, or say some fruits or vegetables, so milk and fruits don't go well together. It's not so compatible with many foods. So see if your dog accepts curd, and if he does, then we can try adding many new ingredients in the curd. If he does not, never mind. Start adding, say, pureed carrots to the curd, but don't mix them all together with the curd. With the milk. Let the milk be. Put a very small amount of pureed carrots on one side of his food, and then gradually increase the proportion. And once the dog starts accepting those pureed carrots, then slowly start mixing them with the milk. Don't immediately just mix them with the milk. And once he accepts that, then you can start reducing the portion of the milk, right? And so not just carrots, what you can do is you can boil carrots in rice and say lentils, all these 3 ingredients together, and then make them into a paste and put that paste on the side of, blend it with the milk yet. Start serving it like that, and then start mixing it, mixing very little amounts after you have given it separately in the milk bowl with the milk. I think that should work.
Awesome. So finally, we know that anybody who wants to switch from milk to plant-based diet for a dog, do it gradually, increase 10% every day or over a period of 3 weeks. And from milk, make a transition to first curd. And from curd, you can gradually increase the more amount of vegetables and other fruits that the dog would accept.
Yes, it's actually hard for getting the dogs to like vegan things from plant-based food choices that they've already adopted. It's a tough job. It's not always easy, and I would also recommend that please do not force any change on your pets. Make it gradual, make it easy on them.
Right. Absolutely. The last thing you need is your pet really suffering because of, a decision which is forced on the pet. It has to be very gradual and,
Another thing is that the dog accepting various foods, it actually sets out in puppyhood. So you have to start making the dog familiar to new tastes and smells of foods right when you start to wean off the dog from the mother's milk or the milk starters that we give to dogs. So once we start weaning them off, it is right there and then that we make the dog a picky eater or accepting to all kinds of foods. So we have to expose the dog to a lot of textures, a lot of different foods right in the beginning.
Absolutely, that's very true. Jen Priya is asking us a question about cats. Jen, we've already answered this question before, and so time is scarce. We will like to end this session now. If there is no other question, then I think. Okay, we'll take a last question from Bhavna. And are calcium bones for teething puppies vegan? Are they okay to give?
You have to check the packet for the contents. If it says it is made from plant sources, then very well. However, I'm not sure because they would be having milk in them, dairy milk in them. So yeah, and you have to check the packet ingredient because there's so many companies, so many makes. You would have to check that. But yeah, otherwise giving a bone is very good for dogs to give a massage to them. They have a natural instinct of biting when they are growing, which is why they gnaw on the furniture and they bite on the furniture and they make everything haywire. Or otherwise, if you do not like to give bones, but the point is to satisfy that urge of a dog to chew on something for hours and hours, which also helps in development of their jaws. So you need to think of something really hard, like a very hard piece of, say, wood, which cannot break or splint and cause any injuries in the mouth. We have to think of some other options, or there are many chew toys available that the dog can just keep on chewing. So you could think of those. The point is to give his jaws the massage and exercise.
Thank you so much, Geet. This was very, very insightful. And Vishal, and there are a lot of other people also who are saying that they found this session very useful. Everybody who enjoyed. Everybody who's enjoyed this session, please, and want to be part of more sessions and more webinars, more workshops with Geet, please message us with your email and number, and do write the contest as well, and we will update you when the next one happens.
Thank you for having me, Palak, and thank you, viewer. Thank you.
Great. So until you again next time, guys.
Thank you. Same to you. Bye-bye.
Bye.